So then,
Some guy was getting tortured. I was like, meh, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Bills to pay, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth episode of the Homerow podcast. I am one of your lovely hosts, Joe McAllister, and I'm joined by Quiglin. Brian, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I'm all right. And the ever lovely, except when she's sick. Well, she's still kind of lovely. Doxy.
I'm always lovely, Joseph.
Damn it. I take it back. The always lovely Doxy.
Nice.
Darn tootin'.
He's like, I get to edit the show anyway. I could just...
That's right. This might be the first episode I actually edit.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
That's right.
Bringing up the class.
All right. So another kind of slow news week. But we're going to make the best of it because last time we were able to do it. If it devolves into Bloodborne and Dark Souls...
I'm just saying it probably will. It probably will.
I'm not gonna fault us for it. So this week on the Dark Souls / Bloodborne podcast, just kidding. The first one that I was really excited for because I'm getting very excited, trying to quell the hype personally, but it's just not working. Is The Witcher 3 getting a DLC announcement? Which sometimes for a game, especially before it comes out, can be a little no bueno.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the guys from CD Projekt Red have done a great job of saying, hey, you'll get as much free stuff as we can put out, but these 2 packs are going to roughly run, I think, 30 to 35 bucks, somewhere in that neighborhood, and be about 30 to 35 hours. Something like that. Basically, a lot of hours, a little bit of dough, and their kind of quotes were, we remember the days when expansion packs really expanded upon the game and gave you new experiences. So... my question is, in a game that's been quoted as being already 200 hours plus, do you guys think, either of you, both of you, do you think you'll put in over, let's just call it 250 hours into The Witcher 3?
Yeah. Yeah, I do think I will, but what I think about this whole announcing the DLC before it's even out thing, I think that is ridiculous and they should have waited, for one. But I think that the price point is pretty fair. I think that since, I don't know, I've gotten way less than 35 hours out of games that cost me $60, $70. So I feel like something as promising as The Witcher 3, I think that all of this is good news.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I agree with Doxy. I think that, for $25 to get 30, 35 hours of new content... especially for a game that's going to be as amazing looking as it is. I think when you finish it, you're going to have this, and granted, I'm speculating, but you're going to have this sense of accomplishment, yet, man, I really could go back to that world.
Right.
And this is going to give people the opportunity to do just that. Now, I mean... man, I really wish they had held on this, just because it just, oh man, it just made, especially for, yeah, and for a group of people who specifically said, we want to be able to give out free expansion content and be able to do all this, to now come out and say it, and it's like, man, why couldn't you just have waited? Just have waited.
I think it was
unless they really,
idea.
really need that money. Unless they really need that money.
Well, they also announced, so there's a bundle. On PS4 and Xbox One, the game and its expansion pass, reading this from Polygon, will be sold as a bundle for $84.99. On PC, that bundle will be sold for $79.99.
Well, console licenses are a bit more expensive than PC licenses when it comes to publishing games. I'm sure it's going to be through Steam, yeah?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. I know that it costs a lot less to get your game up on Steam than it does to get your game up on like Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. So I can definitely understand that. And like, although console gamers are probably going to feel that it's unfair, it's totally, totally fair. And I forget the rest of that sentence, so move on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Any Benadryl?
I'll probably
today?
end up having to pick up.
No,
I'll
not
have to
today.
pick up the. Oh, sorry.
You're fine, Brian. We were just talking about
all right.
Doxy being all drugged up.
Skype lag.
Oh, well, I see. At this point, I just assume
Yeah.
that she's
I'm a
been,
big
you know,
old Benadryl junkie.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been tipping that bottle back just a little bit before each show. I just make that assumption. I already pre-ordered this through GOG, so I'll just end up probably paying the $25 at some later date
Right.
to play
Yeah, I'm
more.
the same way. So are you guys of the mind then that any DLC, regardless of, well, let's clarify. Let's say paid DLC like this, like rather large story DLC, should be held off until the game has been released so that people don't feel like, well, you're just holding that content back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am absolutely of that mind. And like I said just a couple minutes ago, it's just overwhelming to have that much game thrown at you. Like, especially since this game boasts 200 hours of gameplay. I think that it's really just ludicrous to throw on an additional 35 on top of that. And I don't know. I feel like I would start and be like, well, do I want to do the DLC right away or not? And like, I feel as somebody who is like as neurotic and anxiety ridden as I am, like that's just so much to throw at a person at once.
Yeah.
I can see that part of it. What I think, and I'm no game developer, but I think where I kind of identify with bringing this stuff out is there's a certain point where I would imagine about now is the time, if it hasn't already, The Witcher is either, especially since it's been delayed, The Witcher is either going very shortly or already gold internally. So they're starting to get it ready to press and get out to people.
Right.
So there are people that are sitting there basically done with their job, be they concept artists or, you know, animators or anything like that. It could even just be, you know, a writer is done with his job and sitting staring at a screen, reading the same script over and over, like, yeah, it still sounds pretty good. Okay, what do I do now? And I don't know if that's the case, but I've heard of that being the case before, where a game is pretty much done. It just has to go out and get produced and physical copies be made, and then it kind of becomes a business back-end side, you know, get it on Steam, make sure the launch goes well, make sure your engineers are on top of it. But then you've got this other core group that created that experience that's now kind of twiddling their thumbs. And I think this is a good way for them to work on it, but I do kind of, especially with a game this large, I don't recall if Dragon Age Inquisition had anything like this that they announced pre-release. They probably said something along the lines of, yeah, there will be DLC, but I think they just released their first one, if I'm not mistaken, for Xbox One. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just hit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, oh, tomorrow we're going to release the trailer and the DLC.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a better way to handle it, but at the same time, I think it's not a very great way to handle. I don't know. There's probably not a perfect way to do it, but I think that they did the right thing by holding off and letting people experience that core experience of Dragon Age Inquisition and saying,
right,
here you go. Here's another 4 hours or whatever it is. I don't know. It's BioWare and EA. It's probably an hour and a half and $35, but it is a little bit easier than being upfront and a month before your game comes out saying, okay, so we're also going to have this. This is $35 if you want it, or you can split it up if you want. One's $25, one's $10. So I see why they're doing it or why they're working on DLC now, but I can agree with you guys that the announcing it a month in advance is a little like daunting, especially when they tell you like you're adding 35 hours.
Yeah, fucking make it, sure. Like, get those guys their work or whatever you gotta do, but wait to release it. Like, people are using up all their hype on the core gameplay already. They can't, like, there's no room for hype for the DLC yet. Just give it a minute to cool off for like a
Meter
second.
is at max.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because like I'm kind of bitching about it, but I'm still gonna play the hell out of it. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't,
totally.
it's not even in like a bad way. It's just like, no, it's cool. I mean, I'm fine with it. Just like chill for like a minute.
Yeah. No, and the word. I know this is going to sound silly because, in truth, the reason I want them to hold off is to make me feel better. You know, so like after I've been playing it and I'm still excited about the game, then they're like, "Ooh, and we have this stuff coming out because we decided to start working on this," and then I'd be like, "Yeah," and that's really all it's saving. I'm still going to end up buying it. I'm still gonna end up playing it. So really, it's this me being upset about being even fake upset about it is just to make me feel better.
Yeah.
Right, and let's be realistic. Like for me, on my kind of radar of gigantic games coming out, it's pretty much The Witcher and then Batman.
Persona 5.
When is Persona?
Persona 5 is supposed to come out towards the end of the year.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of like a chronological look at the year. Right now, it's The Witcher in May 19th, excuse me, and then 3 to 4 weeks later is Batman: Arkham Knight, and then. Or, excuse me, Elder Scrolls Online. Pass. Let's see. And then it's essentially September 1st is Mad Max and Metal Gear Solid, which, god damn you, for the same day. But this, I mean, a 200-hour game, you've already got my money. You're going to have a lot of my time. I don't know. It's just funny, like, when you step back and look at it, like I'm bitching about them giving me too much content. Stop.
It's not that though. It's not give me like I'm so for DLC. Like DLC, pretty much always a good thing. Just like you got to space it out smartly. That's all.
Be more smartly, she says.
Yeah, I are smart. Good.
Don't be big dum dum.
Why you know smart? Why come you know smart?
I always think of The Simpsons. I am so smart.
SMRT.
Oh, I mean. Okay, so, well, the other big announcement this week was kind of like accidental. It was weird. So the way they handled this was strange. First off, we'll just say it's Deus Ex Mankind Divided. They did like a Twitch thing. Did either of you guys catch it?
No.
It was weird. It was very, very weird. So they, all of a sudden, I just noticed on Twitter that I think PlayStation had tweeted something about, hey, join us and our friends from Square Enix, right? They're publishing it.
Still publishing it. Yep.
He said, join us and our friends for a fantastic game reveal or something like that. And it was like a 3-day event spaced out over multiple Twitch streams. And I go to the channel and it's a dude sitting in a chair with a bag over his head. Like, serious Guantanamo level stuff. It was so strange. So then there's a countdown. The countdown is basically saying that there's going to be a vote soon. You get to vote what happens next. Now, I never caught like what was happening with the actual voting, but I did catch when the timer ran out. And then all of a sudden, and this guy, like in a very creepy, like awful, like I'm weirded out by this kind of way, was screaming for people to help him. Like, help me, I don't know what's going on. Somebody help. And then they would, I think they pulled him out of the chair and like hit him or something like that and played some music. It was just a weird like torture scene, and then I kind of forgot about it, went to work, and then just like tuned out.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I went from really disturbed to just not interested really fast.
Yeah.
So then,
Some guy was getting tortured. I was like, meh, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Bills to pay, son.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good luck with your chair situation.
Not my problem. So yeah, then later in the day, I see that there's a new Deus Ex game, which was kind of the rumor that's what it was going to be, and kind of made sense anyway. But it's like, oh, by the way, Deus Ex was just leaked, and then was this today? Yeah, this morning on the PlayStation blog, Deus Ex Mankind Divided officially revealed, bringing back the guy from the last one, Human Revolution, Adam Jensen, which is weird because I know a guy named Adam Jensen, or knew, I should say. He was a character. But are either of you hype?
I'm take it or leave it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
I'm
of
with
you are
Doxy on this.
Oh.
It's on my pile of shame, the first one. Or Human Revolution, I should say.
This is one of those like sweet spot games for me because it was one of my first PC games ever. Well, I can't say ever. It was one of the first ones that I really invested a lot of time into, and remember being a little bit strategic and a little bit tactical about my character planning and how I went after situations. Because it was one of those games where if you wanted to play the entire game without killing anybody, you could. If you wanted to just go in guns blazing, you could. It wasn't nearly as satisfying, but you could also go through and, get new dialogue options just by having your stats in the right way. You could move just about anything to get to a new place. Like you could move a soda machine. You had these crazy bionics. So then last year, or 2 years, 3 years ago maybe, it's been a while, when they brought it back, I was very pumped. And I really, really liked the new game. I think you guys would actually both enjoy it, especially if you could pick it up on the cheap. It's totally worth it. Tons and tons of gameplay in there and ways to go about the situations differently. So I think like Doxy, the glutton for punishment in you, would like that at a higher difficulty level.
Yeah, definitely.
What's up?
I know my boyfriend is gonna go nuts for it. Like I know that he's gonna be all about that game, and I'm sure I'll play it. But it's not something that's just like it's not something that's on my radar really.
I think if you have no idea what it is, it's definitely gonna just slip right on by.
I know what it is. I don't know.
I know what it is, and I still don't care.
Kinda like I mean, I like doing multiplayer stuff with Mike, but it's not something that I would have picked up on my own.
I mean, it's not like watching torture and feeling meh, but you know.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, listen, I'm totally within my rights to feel indifferent to a stranger's torture.
Oh my god.
Joe, that speaks volumes. Sociopath. What?
Yeah. Well, hey. That's it. I just hey. No, but I dig it because it's one of the few also like cyberpunk set games.
Yeah.
The settings are absolutely outrageously good looking too in Human Revolution. So if you can pick it up on the cheap, if any listeners are curious about it, I recommend it. It's one of those games that I think also can split the base, where it's either pretty damn good to most people. I wouldn't say anybody's clamoring for Game of the Year, but it tells a good story in a cool location with some cool abilities. It's just overall a very good game. It's in like the same tier for me as like Sleeping Dogs, where it was a very enjoyable game. It wasn't the best game I've ever played, but it had some really fun elements. It was just a good game that I got very cheap when I rebought it on PC, I should say, because I did buy it on 360 at first, and
Right.
it just ran better on PC. So that's where I would say pick it up and get pumped for Mankind Divided, because apparently it's got some. I have a feeling they're going a little more political. It's always been a little bit like political / class warfare, but
Sure.
now our guy is part of a counterterrorism unit, so he plays by his own rules, and he has a really gravelly voice, which usually gets to me. Like it usually, my least favorite person, like of all time, is the guy from Watch Dogs, just because he's just like a standard white guy in a trench coat with a gravelly voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in Deus Ex, I let it slide, much like torture.
Yeah, exactly. But man, Cyberpunk 2077, when are they gonna show more of that?
You know what? I'm actually a little relieved that they haven't been talking about that more, because a good parallel for me is Avalanche Studios, who's working on Mad Max as well as Just Cause 3. And they've kind of like bounced back and forth. Mad Max is supposed to come out first, I think, but then they talked about Just Cause, and then I get like all this focus lost and the games kind of blur together. And I want them to pay attention to one of the games. So with CD Projekt focusing on The Witcher, like just do that. Just focus on it, make it the best you possibly can. I will play it from May probably until the end of time if it's as good as it looks, and then
Yeah, for sure.
I'll move on when Cyberpunk comes out. I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, I know. There's a part of me that you just said Cyberpunk, and I'm just like, man, I really want them to show me something awesome.
For sure. How cool would it be if they revealed something at E3? Like, oh, by the way, we're not
Oh my
done.
god. Yeah, God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Whew.
So,
Slow news week.
yeah, really, like the silence
Yeah.
tells you everything, really.
Just not a lot of stuff that I'm super interested in is happening, is all.
There wasn't a lot that was like, whoa, wait, what? Where you have to check a couple websites to make sure this is really happening. It's just like, oh, new game announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, World of Warcraft is having some kind of coin thing. I almost tried to care about that, but I didn't.
Tell us about the coin thing.
Apparently, you can use in-game gold to buy like time, because you can play like the first 20 levels for free, and then you can, if you get enough gold, you can actually pay for your subscription with in-game gold.
That's
so I
kinda
guess,
cool.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a good step for them, especially for a game that's been out for 10 years, to give people that opportunity. I don't know.
I don't think it's the smartest business plan, but it's pretty cool.
No, I think it's cool though because it'll keep those core players that have been going forever and ever like in there. Plus, it kind of can motivate if people hear that. Like, I've never gotten any time in World of Warcraft. It might interest me, especially if I didn't have to pay. Like, if I play it enough, I can pay for my subscription. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely directed at a very small group of people because, you know, the core group of WoW players are most likely, you know, they're paying the $15 a month and they don't care.
Right.
They're just like, whatever, $15.
They get their fucking money's worth.
Yeah, I've been paying, you know, $15 a month for 10 years now, so I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So for those people, this really doesn't mean a whole lot, but you know, people could, you know, if they have a lot of in-game currency, they could turn it into coins and then sell those on the auction house. So it does give them an opportunity to do, you know, to use the system to their advantage. So I mean, it's just, but it's like that was the big news, you know, that and, you know, like the other stuff we're going to talk about.
Well,
which isn't
speaking
really
of
that big.
opportunities, there's a few people seeking new job opportunities. See, I'm getting better at this segue thing.
Mhm.
I'm, like, studying a lot. So the first one is Don Matrick. I just picked this up today, actually. So Don Matrick, for those that are not aware, he used to run... Well, he basically brought out the Xbox One. He was the head of the charge. He was the big guy, the head of Xbox, that brought out the Xbox One at E3 in 2000... Or I think he first showed it in 2012? Something like that. Anyway, when they first showed it off, and they talked about nothing but football and TV to a bunch of gamers at E3, and thought it was a great idea, and thought that Kinect was mandatory. So clearly some misguided principles there, but he left Xbox after not doing good things and went on to do, well, not much at Zynga, which is a mobile gaming platform.
Fucking Zynga.
Right? People that know about Zynga are like, piece of shit, I hate you, Zynga. They made Farmville, right?
Yeah.
Among other just terrible
All
things.
the Ville games, yeah.
Just all the crap that
They like
takes up my
pioneered
Facebook.
the way for microtransactions, basically.
They did. They poisoned the well, those sons of bitches.
They really did. And that's why I will always reply with a resounding fucking Zynga. Every single time.
Well, it's funny because a guy that, you know, kind of borked the Xbox One launch didn't really, like, he didn't do anything over there. As far as I'm sure he did
No.
things, but he was only there for a couple years, maybe 2 years.
July 3rd. He was from July 2013 when. So I happened to just look this up after you brought up this. After you brought up this article, and the stock has dropped from like 350 in July 2013 to right now it's at 260 in the after hours on the Nasdaq. So that's kind of an indicator to me of the impact that he has had on the company, which is not so great.
Wowzer, I just looked at the last paragraph of this Polygon article. Zynga plans to announce its first quarter financial results on May 7th. In February, the company posted a $45 million net loss for Zynga's fourth quarter.
Jeez.
$45 million in a quarter.
Yeah, that's.
Woof.
Woof indeed.
Well,
45
and the worst part
million
is he's just such a tool. Like, he looks like a tool, and you know he obviously didn't do anything at Xbox, and he hasn't done anything at Zynga. And I think it's just, man, whoever hires this guy, man, that's sad for them.
Yeah, I think they maybe saw to his credit, I think they tried some things with Xbox One. They really did try to steer the vision, but that's not what
Sure.
people want. Like I think they just misguided, and they didn't probably what's the word I'm looking for? Like focus test or focus group out like real people that will buy the next Xbox.
Right.
They just talk to people that have Rokus.
Yeah, they're focusing way too much on making it part of your home entertainment system as opposed to like what it already was, you know, which is what people want is a fucking gaming system. It's
Yeah, well, and realistically, after he left, it may have been one of his smartest moves ever if he just freaking tanked the Xbox, and then all of a sudden Phil Spencer takes over and does some of, you know, the things everybody's been asking them to do, and makes some great bundles and brings out good games and gets some good exclusives. for that platform, and now Xbox is, not necessarily on par sales-wise with PlayStation 4, but it's at least not the joke that it was when it came out. Like, there's no reason. I was a long-time Xbox 360 only person. I never got a PS3, and I went straight over to PS4. So it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
And then, so I guess I can't say he didn't do anything at Zynga, because he sure.
He lost the money.
Man.
He lost the money. I mean, that's doing something.
Wouldn't it be brilliant though if he just bought stock? Like he tanked these companies and then bought stock immediately after he left.
Oh wow. There's got to be a law against that.
I'm sure there's something.
I'm sure there's something.
But a girl can dream, right? Yeah.
Sorry. I see you saying that, and you have an icon of Macho Man.
Damn right. I think is it? I can't see my icon. I'm pretty sure it's Macho Man as Bonesaw, which is the best character ever.
Yeah, good point.
I miss him every day.
That.
I swear to God, I miss Macho Man every day. Anyway, another
Gonna
person.
be okay, brother.
Whoa! You don't.
What?
That's Hogan.
I'm sorry.
It was like a
Was
legit.
it was wrestling. I didn't know.
You crossed the line. You've crossed the line.
Ooh, you're touching a nerve here, Doxy.
Not like
so
torture,
sorry.
but
I was like Hulk Hogan when I was little.
Torture is fine. Hogan is not. Okay. So the other kind of big departure was announced, I think, today as well. Steve Papoutsis? Papoutsis? Papoutsis.
Let's go with that.
An awesome name if that's it, which it probably isn't. But the guy that has been with EA and Visceral Studios for the past 15 years was reported by Kotaku. Jason Schreier, who's just throwing out news left and right, it seems, these days, has left the company. So they also just did Battlefield Hardline, which is my current kind of just zone out, don't think about it.
Jam.
Stuff. Yeah.
That's your jam, dude.
I play it a lot. I can't stop. Anyway, Steve's gone. Steve is replaced by Scott Probst, who's son of a former veteran EA exec, Larry Probst, who was there for a number of years. Basically, the vibe I kind of get is, initially it was like, well, Battlefield Hardline came out and probably didn't do as well as they thought, probably didn't score as well as they thought, and probably just wasn't the exact direction they wanted to go. And talked to him about it, and he said, well, you know what, I've been here for long enough, see you later. But in the comments, I kind of noticed that Jason Schreier again comments that, for what it's worth, people have characterized the shakeup as a good thing for the studio. So I don't know if that means that they're going in a different direction, or that it was actually Steve just said, you know what, it's time. Because I have to imagine after 15 years at one studio, you might get a little bit stale. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you're in one studio who's making a multi-million-dollar AAA game, what makes you just walk away?
Yeah, it's got to be the routine is getting old. Like, I don't know. It feels similar to the way I felt about Metal Gear when we were talking about Metal Gear. Like, I just feel like when a game is done to death, even though I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. I play Call of Duty religiously, and like I will never stop playing Call of Duty. No matter how many they put out, I'm gonna buy every single one of them and play. I know that if I was somebody who was working on those games, I would want to be stretching the brain muscle a little more. You know?
Definitely. That's
I feel like new perspectives are the thing that keep a game series like that alive.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't know if they'd be able to go back to another Dead Space game since Dead Space 3 wasn't like a big hit.
Right.
1 and 2 are actually fairly well regarded.
Mm-hmm.
1 especially is, if I'm remembering right, I haven't played them in so long that...
It was hella innovative. I thought that game was really good.
Yeah, I remember friends playing it and me seeing it because I wasn't as up on the news as I am now, and seeing that game and being like, what is that?
Yeah.
I need to know what that is right now. And playing it a few years later and still being terrified until my wife pointed out that the monsters kind of look like chickens. Like they have they look like a bear chicken wings. And then I wasn't scared anymore. So that's how I got over Dead Space. I don't know, Brian. What do you think? What would make you if you had just made millions of dollars? Well, I wouldn't say he's made millions of dollars, but probably makes pretty damn good money.
Yeah,
making
for sure.
Huge franchises for a gigantic publisher where he pretty much could have carte blanche, and then you decide to walk away.
See, and that's the thing is it just says that he's no longer with the studio, so it's entirely possible that they kind of went to him and said, "Hey, Hardline did okay. It didn't really sell as much as we were hoping, and we've decided to take the studio in a different direction." Now, we could, we understand that you're the general manager of Visceral Games, big thing. We would really like you to work on the newest DLC for Sims 4. We think it would be a great opportunity for you. And he's just like, I gotta go. I got blood pooling in my shoe. I could be doing anything other than working on DLC for Sims 4. Not that there's anything wrong for Sims 4, but I'm using it as an example that the likelihood is that they want to take the studio in a different direction, and they were going to try to get him to do kind of a lateral move to keep him within EA and keep him happy. But the truth is, yeah, it probably just wasn't what he was looking for. And of course they make it where it's like, here, it's a total lateral move into this completely shitty job. And I'm thinking, it's very possible that that's what it was, and he just decided that, it's time for him to move on. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up somewhere else, because obviously the proof is in the pudding, as we've seen with the whole Don Matrick thing. He was a complete, loser, and obviously tanks places he goes. Visceral Studios has a fantastic, legacy, and I think that, Steve, I'm not even going to bother trying to even, I'm sure Steve, will be able to move on to another publisher, another developer, and be able to pick up and do, great things there too. It's just, my guess is they just decided to make a change. It could be just as simple as that.
For sure. I can agree with that.
Why is it this guy's son, though?
Yeah.
That could also be another thing. That could be, they wanted to get him.
Be a thing.
They wanted to get this, guy into a, general manager position because the chairman wanted it, and they were like, okay, so lowest man on the Steve. Steve, you're out. I have to get someone very qualified like my son.
I like thinking about it that way. That's interesting and conniving. I mean, I hope it didn't happen. I just like thinking of it that way.
Just the most cynical approach possible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't throw on the discussion topics, but I think we have an interesting enough perspective from all three of us, is does anybody follow Angry Joe on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
Did anybody catch the news on this? Well,
just that he was really, really angry about something.
Yeah, he got pretty damn pissed off. Basically, he put up a video, a Let's Play of sorts, maybe? I don't know. Basically, he played Mario Party 10, and Nintendo claimed the entire video. It was something like an hour long. He went on a just tirade saying, we're done with Nintendo. I watched it, and he brings up some valid points, but there's actually been quite a bit of interesting discussion that I've seen around it. Like, that's the only reason I've been following it, is that he goes on this tirade, and I believe that Nintendo is ass backwards in not just this situation, but their entire YouTube handling. I think they're behind the curve big time.
Yep.
But it's interesting to see, like, David Jaffe, the guy that created God of War, kind of went off on or about the whole situation. He didn't necessarily say directly, Angry Joe, you're an idiot. How could you not expect this? As well as they're within their right. They created a property. They don't want you to use it unless you're part of their program, and therefore you can't use it unless you're part of their program. Which then Angry Joe went back. But there's just been a lot of back and forth and a lot of cool opinions, so I thought I'd bring it up as a discussion point, especially Doxy with a flourishing channel on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do any Nintendo stuff?
No, absolutely. I will never, ever, ever back Nintendo on YouTube. Like, ever.
So is that all in kind of direct response to their policy or their program?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it on the first podcast, how I feel about Nintendo and how I think they can shove it. Like,
That's right. Yeah, you.
they're huge assholes. They're huge assholes that are like completely unwilling to bend. Like, they need to learn how to make a change, or they're just not gonna have the. I mean, I don't think that they're in danger of going anywhere, but I think that they're fucking turning themselves into a joke, you know? Like, they're always going to put out good games, and there's always going to be fun to be had there, but nobody is going to be outwardly supportive. Like, it's getting to the point where people have had a fucking enough, and I'm one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's interesting because they handle certain things, like the Zelda delay. I thought they handled extremely well. They brought the game designer out, did a Nintendo Direct, and he said, listen, we've been trying very hard, but to make the best Zelda game we've ever made, we're just going to go ahead and push it to next year. And here's what we're working on, and give a little bit more news. Like, that's probably the best way to handle it, and it's kind of the same way that CD Projekt Red handled the Witcher delay, like being very upfront, saying, listen, we're doing the best we can, but we also don't want to piss you off by rushing a product out the door.
Definitely.
But then they come out and say, but also, if you play our game on your channel, we're going to take 40% of your cut, and you can basically just take it. So...
Yeah, either that or you can cover only Nintendo games forever and ever on your channel, and then we can work something else out.
And don't they have to approve every single one?
Yep, they sure do. You can't, like, say anything bad about Nintendo or anything. Yeah, it's
Wow.
just the most absurd thing.
Yeah, their policy definitely needs a lot of work. But on the other hand, I don't think that David Jaffe's wrong in this case. I mean, it seemed like Angry Joe just went way off the deep end.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think there's a time and a place to, make your argument, be heard, but I mean, totally just losing your shit starts pushing you into meme territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doxy.
No, you first.
I was going to say that I watched one of the discussions I saw was on the Kinda Funny Games Twitch channel, and they were chatting about, like, it's pretty simple for us. We're going to play Nintendo games, and when they inevitably do strike one of our videos, we are no longer covering Nintendo games, and we'll just remove that video from our channel. And unfortunately, you guys can't hang out and, we can't play Mario Kart on the channel. We can still do it in private, but, it's things like that the company, unfortunately, is going to miss out on, that fraction of the exploding audience that is Twitch and YouTube streaming.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm sorry, you were going to say, Doxy.
Oh, just that I'm totally with Jaffe too. Like, I think that he's right. Like, it's been apparent for a very long time what Nintendo's stance is on covering their games, and Angry Joe should have known better. Like, he should have seen it coming. He should have not made that video if he didn't want to, like, get in hot water with Nintendo or whatever. And just throwing a little baby fit isn't going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
For a guy that's name is Angry Joe.
Yeah. Well, I like the dude. I like the dude, but, like, that was just a stupid fucking move on his part.
Yeah. I think to take the absolute cynical view, it's gotten a lot of views for him. It's got a lot of traction over to his page.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fine, but, like, it's not gonna fix the problem.
Oh no. Yeah.
It's not, and, like, unless he was doing it for view bait, which I definitely don't think he would. He's, like, a pretty genuine dude, you know?
Yeah, you can tell he's got some good ethics behind him.
Right, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't see the point. I don't see the point of going on a tirade like that. He should have fucking known better. That's that.
Yeah. Word.
Definitive. That's what that was, Doxy.
Yeah?
Period.
That was mic drop.
I'm out.
Speaking of Twitch, Doxy, are you going to be going to TwitchCon?
No. I'm so poor, dude. I'm so insanely poor. I wish I could, but there's just no way.
I'm just asking because I just saw TwitchCon 2015 tickets go on sale Friday.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
I have not been paying attention because all of my sad.
Did they even say
Well,
what that thing's for?
Here's and while I'm at it, let me give you a paper cut and pour some lemon juice on it.
If you could.
Yes, good.
Did they release anything like as to what the actual TwitchCon is going to do?
I'm sure that they're just going to be live streaming from the event. They're going to have panels similar to PAX, and it's going to be mostly for people who hang out on Twitch and people who broadcast from Twitch.
That's probably a fair assumption. Actually, I watched quite a few of their panels. It was interesting to hear them talk about what their plans are for Twitch. Like that was kind of fascinating. Like what they want to do.
I would hope.
guess.
I would hope that they, you know, along with some of the panels of what people do, I would hope they could, you know, talk about like what they want for the future, or maybe some people are coming to TwitchCon to learn how to, you know, be a part of the community, and I hope that they have panels to kind of, you know, get, I want to say like a orientation or something, but you know, to get people involved and get them, you know, continue to build the community.
0% chance that they won't do something like that. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that they will just completely overlook that aspect of it.
I'm hoping.
Like, the more people go to Twitch, the better for Twitch. The end.
Right.
Like, if they can get people to sign as partners, even better. All it is making money. So, yeah.
Wait. People like to make money?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally. I wouldn't know. I'm very separate from the money part of life, but
I'm glad I could show that to you again.
yeah. Thanks very much for that. But yeah, I think that there's definitely going to be so you want to be a Twitch streamer type panels and stuff like that.
Awesome. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, me too. I would love to eventually be able to go and maybe like do some panels myself. It would be fun. I got to do panels at PAX, and it was super fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really fun. It was like some of the most fun I have ever had, pretending to be way more famous than I actually am. It was a blast.
Yeah.
I got to meet the dude who made Super Fight, which is one of the funnest games I have ever played in my entire life.
I have not played Super Fight.
It's a card
Homerow
game.
Podcast from PAX.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we could do it.
That would be super awesome.
I'd make that happen. That'd be okay. So,
That'll be fine.
Doxy, why don't you go right into your indie spotlight? You seem pretty excited about the stuff you were chatting about before the show here.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how you define excited, but I have a couple games that one that I'm like super impressed with for the most part, and then one that I just kind of meh about. I feel the same way about this game as Joe feels about torturing strangers, basically.
Indifferent?
Yeah. The Escapists. I know that a lot of people are super, super into it, but like I was playing it and I could not get into it. I couldn't get myself to have fun. And I feel really bad because like I see the potential there for a really good game, but I feel like a lot of it. Have either of you played?
I have.
No.
Okay, it's just like it's really repetitive. It's really grindy, I guess is the best term for it, and just not something that I could fully get behind.
I actually received a review code and decided not to write a review because I basically couldn't get. I felt the game, like my description would probably be like, is just too obtuse. Like there was just not enough there to tell me like what I needed to be doing right at this moment, or like what my progression would be, and not in the way like we talk about Bloodborne, where it's like figure it out, have fun, this is the world, here are the rules, obey those rules. I just didn't. I felt more like, can I do? No, I don't need to go over there. Well, what's over here? Can I go in this? No, I should change my job. I guess I'll stamp some license plates. Oh, I didn't make enough today. I'd still like to go back to it because I really, really like the art style, and I can appreciate that it was a very small team that made it.
Totally.
But I just didn't. I think I'm like you. The hook didn't get me.
There's so much potential for a great game there. There's so much potential. Like I think that if like there's these mini games that you can do for like working out or like for boosting your stats basically, and if they could just make those more interactive and more fun than just like mashing a couple buttons, I think that would be cool. If there was like maybe if they had some like lifer that was in jail that like was kind of teaching you the ropes or something, I think that would help out a whole lot. I don't know if there were like I know that there are sort of quote quests unquote that you can do, but like for the most part, it's just the same thing over and over again. If there was a little bit more variety to the game, I think it would be an A++++.
I will say I had a lot of fun running on the treadmill as much as I could, and then punching a guard and like sprinting away.
Yeah.
They only pursue for a little bit, so it'd be kind of funny for me to just jack them in the back of the head and then just take off and go in a circle.
Yeah, that was decent, good fun for sure. Punching guards and fucking running away. It was a wholesome time. But no, it's just there's not much to the game, unfortunately, because what is there is decent. It's just there's not enough.
So you just trying to escape prison?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
okay?
Is the Escapists in a nutshell. You can like do favors for other inmates to like gain money. And with money, you can buy the supplies you need to break out of prison. And it's just like a whole lot of the same stuff over and over again.
Are you constrained by time or something? Because couldn't you just, I don't know, wait your sentence?
I don't think so. I think you're in there indefinitely.
Okay, just checking.
It would be pretty funny if there was just some like random Easter egg that's like, wait 30 years, keep this installed, and play the game for 30 years.
That would be really, really good. 30 years from now, fucking 60-year-old my ass would have a real good chuckle. A real good chuckle.
There's a Steam achievement I need.
Yeah. Definitely. That would be really good.
So not very impressed, I can gather from that.
I really hope they do more with it, because I could love that game so much. But for now, yeah, it gets like probably a D+, C-.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
All right.
And the other game I want to talk about is called The Weaponographist. And this
start.
game, on the
Yeah.
contrary, is super fucking fun. Like, so much fucking fun. It's not really a roguelike. I don't know how to explain it more than it's like a dungeon beat 'em up. And you get these weapons that the enemies will drop. Like, you go in with just your fists to the dungeon, and you will beat up an enemy until, like all the enemies, I guess, until one of them drops the weapon, and you can take that weapon and then continue to beat enemies up until that weapon breaks. And they break really quickly, so you have to be picking up different weapons all the time. So this all takes place in a dungeon that is inside of a town that is cursed, and in the town is like your base, kind of really, really similar to like Rogue Legacy, where you like build up what you can, like, I don't know, like stats with the weapons and like stats with yourself. You can like get more HP going in there and so on and so forth. When you die in there, you get taken back to town. I'm so bad at explaining games. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. But it's really, really fun, The Weaponographist. I have not gotten past, I haven't gotten to the second boss. I have beaten the first boss and gotten to the like second area of the dungeon. But from what I've played, it's really fun. When I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. It's a really, really well done game. The one gripe that I have, and it's kind of a big gripe, is I absolutely loathe the art style. Like, I can't stand it. It looks like a mobile game. It does not look good at all. The animations are super wonky. But I will play this game despite that. And art is oftentimes really important to me for enjoying a game.
And this is The Weaponographist. This is the one this is not out yet, correct?
I don't think so, not yet. No.
No, available April 29th.
Yeah, it's still not all the way ready, but I'm pretty sure all the art for it is done.
You know
I
what
like
this looks to
that.
me? Looks
A
little-
mobile game?
Looks a lot. Well, the style, just because I'm not as familiar with it, looks very similar to The Binding of Isaac.
Really?
Yeah, just like just top down with the doors on
Yeah.
the borders of the level. I mean,
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, game design-wise, not art-wise, right?
oh, art-wise, hell no.
Okay, yeah. Well, what's crazy is, like, separate from a game, I love the art style. I think that it would be really cool in like a storybook or something, you know. I think it's really neat looking. I just don't think it fits the game even a little bit. And God, the animations are so fucking wonky that like it's really hard to get past. But because the game is so much fun in execution, it totally doesn't even matter to me.
I love looking at the on Steam, like looking at the screenshots, because I'm looking at one where there's a giant guy coming out of a big black hole with an axe, and he's all dressed in purple. And then there's a unicorn with a rainbow mane, and then there's something exploding, and then there's you.
Yep.
I have no idea what's happening on the screen, but it looks it looks fun.
It's so fun. It is so fun. I absolutely recommend picking it up.
Hold up, is that like a Mecha T-Rex barfing out another monster?
Yeah, it sure is. That's the first boss of the game, and he's hard, but fun.
You
Really,
have
really
my
fun.
attention.
Yeah, it's super good. I definitely recommend picking it up. It would be a really good pooping game if it does come out on mobile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
You can pick it up for just a couple minutes at a time and have fun with it. It's a solid game. I really like it.
And I'm sorry if you touched on this, because I remember you saying it was kind of like Rogue Legacy where you go back to the town. When you die, does it throw you pretty much right back in?
No, it takes you to the town, and then you can like spend your like currency / XP is, whatever. You can spend that on your upgrades or whatever. One thing that I totally forgot to talk about is the more enemies you kill, the more XP you gain. And I don't think that it was a wise choice calling it XP, because when you're not killing enemies, it's draining. When you are killing enemies, yeah. I think it's kind of cool though. I think that it's a little bit hard to get a higher level because just you move so slow and some of the enemies move so slow, and sometimes it takes a little while. Like, I think that needs a little bit of tweaking, but like the higher your XP gets, the more damage and stuff you do, which is also really cool.
I think with a game like this,
Okay.
the reason I asked about like if it throws you right back in is because a game like this, like Rogue Legacy, for me was so interesting because I could just select a new hero and get right back to the castle.
You can
okay.
just go straight back in if you want.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't like kick you back out to the main menu and say load game. That is,
Yeah, no, it doesn't do that.
in some games it's appropriate, but in other games, like for instance Bloodborne, you can get into the action, barring the load times, fairly quickly. Like you know what you need to do. It's like, oh, I can just real quick jump back in. Hotline Miami is amazing about this. I think that's the first time I really recognized it. Was like, oh, I'm back in. All right, well, I guess I'll just try it again. I guess I'll just try it again and again, then 4 hours. See you later.
Super Meat Boy is the very best at transitioning. The very best.
You know, that's one I still haven't played, and that is like top of the pile of shame.
You got to do it, right?
Yeah.
You got to do it. It's a platformer, and it's beautifully executed and just like goofy beyond words. It's super good. Super good. We could do a whole podcast about Super Meat Boy. That game is so good. I am just an Edmund fanboy, like super, super hard. Edmund McMillan. He makes good games. I'm really, really looking forward to Mutagenics.
He makes good games.
He does. He makes great fucking games, dude. He also is the person behind Binding of Isaac.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now it
Oh,
all
that looks-
comes together.
Yeah, and he's going to be doing Mutagenics, which is exactly what it sounds like. Basically, breeding cats. It's going to be awesome, and I'm so excited.
Sounds pretty alright, I suppose.
But it's gonna have like an Edmund McMillan twist to it, like his like twisted sense of humor and stuff. So
Nice.
should be pretty awesome.
Well, that's always good when you play a game like it. On me being AAA fanboy, like I look to people like Ken Levine. Like when he brings a new game out, I will check it out because
Yeah.
it's got his footprint on it, and I can tell. Like, anyway, a little different, but a little bit the same. Brian,
Yes.
what have you been playing?
All right, so I finished up Metro Last Light this past weekend, and so I have to go on just a little bit of a quick rant here. So throughout the entire game of Metro Last Light, right up until that last level, they've been teaching you how to be kind of this, lone wolf. You're going through the tunnels, you're, up on the surface, you're fighting monsters, and you're sneaking around, and I have silenced weapons, and I like throw knives, and I'm trying to be quiet. And the entire last level is you fighting in a group, and all there are giant explosions and gunfire going all over the place. So I can't even so this entire time I've been, getting weapons with like scopes and, ways to go for accuracy and one-shotting people. And you can't do any of that. Basically, I died like 20 sometimes trying to just get past one checkpoint, and finally I started getting past by I just chucked grenades, and I was just spray and pray. So for 97% of the game, it's like all about, precision, accuracy, stealth, turning off lights so that the light meter goes off so I can sneak by guys. Except for the last 3-4% of the game where it's just, just
Utter
action.
chaos.
And like, yeah, it was just like, I was like, okay, I'm done with the game. So as soon as it ended, instead of playing, because it is the Redux version, it had all the DLC. I didn't touch any of the DLC. I just put it back in the thing and sent it back to GameFly, which was kind of disappointing.
Do you think if they would have had a level like that earlier in the game, like maybe midway through to break up the action, like an intermission, would that make any difference?
I think it would have. At least it would have prepared me for that happening again. I just feel like the entire time they wanted me to play a certain way. I was enjoying the game. I was into the culture, into the the story, into the game mechanics, and then they're just like, okay, all the stuff we taught you, don't worry about any of that stuff anymore. Just shoot
Chuck
things.
it out the window.
Oh,
Get rid
nice.
of it.
Yeah,
So
don't
broke
worry
their
about
own
any of that
rules.
stuff.
Awful.
Yeah, it was like I'm like,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a
all.
shame.
I mean,
that's a shame.
I love fantastic game, except for just that last level. I could just do without the last level.
That's
I
a
feel like
heartbreaker.
games like that, it's so hard to determine what your grand finale should be, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like that is, for what it's worth, kind of an action game, right? Like there's stuff going on there that has you amped. So like you have to know, like the last part of it has to be the hardest, right? So what the fuck do you do? What the fuck do you do with a game where they teach you what they teach you in Metro?
Yeah,
like,
Brian, what do
Yeah,
you do? Answer.
I agree with him that it was probably handled really stupidly, but like, yeah, it's just a shame.
Yeah, I would have been fine with a not quite a I don't want to use the word anticlimactic ending, but I would have been fine with a more of a story based ending. I would have been perfectly fine with that. I didn't need a boss battle, especially for a game with such a good story. I would be perfectly fine if it was just a kind of they're like maybe you had to do some secret mission or something, and you kill the end boss however you want to do that, or kill the the big bad guy. You kill him, fine. But it just was like, I don't know, man. I wish it had gone a different route. That's all. It just it soured me on. I had 20 hours of really great experience to have it ruined at the end.
Oh,
not that the
sucks.
game was ruined for me. It just soured me at the end rather than pumping
bad
me up and
taste,
being
right?
like, yeah, all right, that was a good game.
It's like when you let your beer sit out too long. And it's like,
Oh.
it's borderline, like it's still a little cold, but then it's got that weird tinge at the end. Oh, guess I'm done.
Yeah, I still end up drinking it just because I really like beer, but
Yeah.
that's me.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't throw it away. You say I'm
Well,
done,
yeah.
you just have to.
You just slam it quickly. That's what you do.
Exactly.
I've also been playing my very first Souls game. I've been playing Dark Souls 2 on the PS4. And I will admit I was a little trepidatious at first. It's not really my kind of game, but I wanted to really give it a chance, and I'm doing it for a review. So I will say I am pretty impressed with what I've been playing. As I'm sure Doxy can attest, as I've been throwing things in our Skype chat. I don't understand why. I don't understand what's going on here. Because they really don't tell you anything. I sort of stumbled into an area, and the first thing I fought, I should have gone right towards Majula. Instead, I went towards left and fought a thing that ended up poisoning me and killing me on the first guy. So that was, I definitely should have gone a different way. I will say it doesn't look that great on a PS4. especially after you sit there and I was playing, like I was playing Metro, which they, was another game that they brought, like that someone brought forward from the old console to the new console, and it still looked really good, and there were like, beaded water effects and all that, and some of the textures in Dark Souls 2, they didn't work really hard on, and it shows. So that's...
It looks beautiful on PC.
Yeah, you would think that they would just be able to do something with that, but there were just, and I'm not saying, some of the enemies look really good, very detailed, but like some of the, like myself, like especially at the beginning when you wake up and like, I'm like looking at, I'm like, that looks, So that was like my very first foray into the game, was just kind of going, ugh, that looks
That's
icky.
Too bad. That's way too bad.
But I really enjoying the game. Minus, I do have one quick story to tell. There's like this giant sword that's sticking out of a wall, and there's obviously an item at it. And there's a writing on the ground, so I look at the writing, it says, oh, there's an ambush. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this ambush. I go, I get the item. 4 guys run. First guy, chop him down. I'm like, okay, I'm staying on the sword because it's a very narrow platform. All right, that's good. Second guy, okay, I slice him up. All right, I'm good. All right, I block. Slice. Okay, I got the third guy. And then I'm like standing there, and I'm waiting for the guy to come forward, and the guy walks forward, and I'm pushing, I'm pushing to stay on the platform. Nope, the game just decided, no, you're not as important as the enemy, and it pushed me off. And I was just like, you son of a bitch!
Are you sure that he didn't do a guard break attack that knocked you off? Because that could be totally possible. That could be what happened.
It could be. I could be wrong. It just seemed like I was pushing, and then all of a sudden, he came up to me to hit me, and then the next thing I know, I was falling.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't know without being able to see it what had happened exactly, but sounds like it could have been a guard break, man.
Okay, if that's it, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
It just seemed at the time, it just seemed like the game was trying to figure out. I was pushing and he was pushing, and I
took precedence, basically.
Yeah.
I could also see that happening too. So no fault of your own at all. Like I understand. Yeah.
It's totally worked in my favor before, where I had a giant enemy try to swing at me. I dive rolled, and then he decided that he was getting stuck in an animation, and he went off the cliff. That was nice of him.
Yeah, what a nice dude.
Yeah.
What a thoughtful guy.
Yeah, especially because I accidentally went to the flame tower, which is not where I should have been.
I'm trying to think of the flame tower, like what the flame tower is.
There's like a bunch of knights standing around with giant swords and clubs.
Are you talking about Hyde's Tower of Flame?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I should have known. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was just. So I'm like, okay, I can dive out of the way, and I'll keep running. Okay, there's another big guy. Okay, there's another big guy. Okay, there's another big guy. That's a giant dragon. I'm not supposed to be here yet. That's how I came to that conclusion.
So quickly, I just want to ask if you have discovered parries and backstabs yet.
I have not discovered anything. I just figured out how to jump about right before I came on the podcast.
Oh, man. Well, discovering that is going to be really fun for you. It's going to help you out a whole lot.
Okay.
Sorry if I spoiled that. I did not mean to spoil it.
No, you're fine. Is that something I can do right now, or
oh yeah,
I'm only okay? I'm gonna
do from the very beginning.
Okay, I got to figure out how to do that then. That's my goal. Is gonna figure out how to parry by the next episode.
And backstab. Backstab is probably easier.
Okay. Is it something like because I kind of have trouble sneaking up on guys right now. I'm a knight. Is that a problem?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Equip burden is important.
They seem to run at me real fast as soon as I move into an area. So I don't know if I'm making too much noise or if I'm supposed to be walking slower, maybe.
No, aggros are real weird in Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2. It's They're real weird. They take some getting used to for sure. For the most part, sneaking isn't much of an option. For the most
Okay.
but it's the way that you fight enemies that is gonna help you. I don't know. That's gonna help you get the fatal attacks that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like
All right.
sneaking up on enemies doesn't really matter very much.
Okay. I thought there was like some kind of magic thing I didn't know how to do yet. And I'm, cause
Now you know
yeah.
there is.
Oh yeah. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I really do appreciate the writing on the ground thing because
Yeah, messages are nice.
That's saved my butt a couple times. Doxy, do you ever find that I'll go through? So when I started playing today, for instance, I'll like go through like these weird patches where I can't do anything right. Like I go down, I die, and then all of a sudden like it just clicks or something,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then all of a sudden, like just I don't want to even say it's bad luck. It's just I'm pressing the wrong buttons, or I just go through I'll go through like a 5-minute stretch where I can't do anything right, and then I start picking it up or whatever.
Definitely. Absolutely. Like, you're beat into submission is what it is with this game. It's just like, this is the way you need to be fighting. We're going to throw you enemies that are going to teach you that this is the way you need to be fighting. And then we're going to beat you over the fucking head with it so that you learn that this is the way that you should be fighting. And then you get to the next area and it's all different.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's
like the halberders.
fucking beautiful.
I'm like, you fucking bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
God, I
halberd.
love the Souls games. Fucking
I just got to figure out how do I
is what
use
they
a
are.
halberd. Like, can I use a halberd?
Yeah, absolutely you can use a halberd. That should have been the item that you picked up on the sword that you were talking about. Was
Yes.
a halberd. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have
Picked up
to
a halberd.
hit the enemy with the pointy end.
But is that how it works?
Oh, he's been
Yeah.
doing it wrong.
Well, no, you
Oh.
can like if it's not landing directly on them, if you're hitting them with just your pole, it's going to be doing way less damage and it's going to be like doing more damage to your weapon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have. I actually had to restart because I broke all my weapons.
Yeah, that's a rough deal. You
Yeah.
definitely want to be resting at bonfires enough. Like, keep an eye on that meter on your weapon. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
I didn't know the meter existed until I did it,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then I went and like, oh, there's a number thing here. Ah, yeah,
Totally. You gotta keep an eye on that meter.
yeah,
Being stuck with broken weapons is no bueno.
yeah.
No
That's like going
way.
from like all of a sudden you'll see it like knock off 300, and then all of a sudden it was like 21.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's how I learned that lesson. That
It's
was a
rough.
good lesson. Two
It's rough.
2 hours in, good lesson learned.
There are so many things that I want to just spoil for you to make your life easier, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like going through it without knowing, like you're a
Yeah,
stronger man than I.
I'm trying to. I'm trying. I found the key. Found the key finally.
Good
so
stuff.
yeah, that's
Now you can get your broken weapons repaired, which is fucking beyond helpful.
yes. Yeah, that was a huge thing. Except the very first thing I did as soon as I got back to Majula is leveled up and then went, oh, I have the titanium shards, but now I don't have the souls to strengthen my weapons.
Yeah.
Huh. I should have thought about that. Okay,
Can
I'm
I
gonna
give
go
you-
back.
can I want to give you just like the one most useful piece of advice that people often overlook.
Yes.
Is that fair? Is that okay? All right. Use
Yeah.
your consumable souls as early as possible because they only get less and less valuable as time goes on.
Oh.
Anytime
okay.
you're in Majula and wanting to spend souls on anything, pop those consumable souls.
Okay, I will do that. I've been kind of just holding on to them because I figured there's going to be something where I'm going to be really friggin' close, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to go out and risk these things.
Right.
So
No, wait till you're in Majula and you're right about to spend them, of course, but
yeah.
definitely.
Hey, at least I didn't die by the pigs. Those stupid little oinkers in Majula. I at least killed those things.
They are little bastards.
Yes.
Pigs are some of my favorite animals, and I hate those fucking things.
Oh my god, they're the worst. Also, I need to turn off auto-targeting.
Really?
Yeah. I need to be able where I'm the one who pushes the button because it, I had a problem where there was a guy up on top throwing bombs at me, and the game kept trying me to target him, and I'm like, no. Guy with big halberd in front of us. Let's attack him first.
Right. Okay. I thought so. It automatically targets things for you, and you don't.
Yeah, I gotta turn that off.
It won't let you force a different target by moving your perspective.
Yeah, no, it keeps forcing my perspective to look up at the guy, and I'm like, no, guy hitting me right in front.
That is crazy. Yeah, definitely turn off auto target. That is going to make the game worlds easier for you.
Yeah.
Brian was accidentally playing on the hardest difficulty just because targeting was on.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I know. So, like, I was in Medulla, and I had heard a long time ago about there's a covenant you meet up right away, and it makes the game a whole lot harder. I've, like, found it. I'm like, nope. Walking away. See ya. Because I don't want to make the game harder, because I'm not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no company of champions for me. I am in the company of not champions.
The name alone seems like it might give it away. I mean, I want to be a champion. I think I am a champion.
Oh, yeah. Totally would like to be a champion. But let's face it, I'm not a champion.
There's got to be some barrier to entry, I'm sure.
If anything, I'm, the Glass Joe of Dark Souls. Or Von Kaiser. Maybe I'm Von Kaiser. Maybe I'm not Glass Joe. Maybe I'm Von Kaiser. Where he was 3-30, whereas Glass Joe is 1-99.
Oh, poor Glass Joe. Just get shit on.
Yeah, Joe.
Man, if they did like a 30 for 30 Glass Joe, I'd watch it.
I would probably watch it too.
Oh, cool. So I still like. It's like.
What about you, Joe? What are you playing?
Well, it's funny because I was sitting here and it's like every week you two have a conversation about a game that I am just nope. And Dark Souls 2, I have not. Like I wanted to give valuable input and I just don't have it. The closest parallel I have is Bloodborne, which I did quickly replay. I re-rolled my character. Because
that was probably wise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I basically went back out and was able to demolish the area that I spent 2 hours on in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got right back to the Cleric Beast. I set it down at that point because I was feeling a lot better about the game. Like I understood the game systems. I understood attacking, rolling. Like I got it. And I was able to draw people away, use pebbles, all this fun stuff. Now I'm just kind of chilling because I want to take on the Cleric Beast and see if I can just get it done. But I also know it's, like I kind of commented last time, it's not a 10-minute, sit down, just knock it out thing.
Right.
That game in general. So we'll see. I will get back to it. I think that might be another lead up into The Witcher that is just like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to do it. It's going to be a day off game and see how far I can get through it.
Did you choose a different weapon this time?
I did. I went with the saw thing. The saw blade.
Saw cleaver?
Saw cleaver, yeah.
Saw cleaver.
That thing's a boss. I'm doing a lot more damage.
Yeah. The whip is it's not as strong.
It's fine. I mean, it gets the job done, but
it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And there's just a different way you have to fight enemies with that than I feel like the saw cleaver is probably one of the better weapons for you, Joe, because it's fast enough and strong enough that you can sort of play the way that you like to play, which is run and fuck people up.
That's exactly how it's panned out. Exactly.
Yeah.
The cane fit my character. I was really happy with the way that she was a total badass with this massive cane whip. But then I was like, well, that's only kind of aesthetically pleasing because she's getting her ass kicked every time she goes in. So the saw cleaver seems to be a lot quicker in its folded state. Not necessarily a lot quicker, but it does decent damage while still being quick. And then the longer range is nice too. So I don't know, I like it a lot more. That it's made me like the game more because I could get through and I feel like I can take guys down quick and all that fun stuff. So I'm excited to get back into it. I had an offer come across for the Rainbow Six Siege Alpha, so I kind of jumped at that because I've been looking forward to it. And I streamed some of it because there's no NDA on it, and
Yeah, I watched it. I was there.
It's fine. Like there are some things that I see that they need to tweak big time. And so the title of the broadcast was Load Time Simulator because that is by far the biggest hamstrung. Like it's handicapped by its load times right now.
Worse than Bloodborne?
Way worse.
Oh,
we're talking
that's
minutes
gotta
on
be
minutes.
torture.
And the worst part of it is, and Brian can probably back me up on this, the worst part of those long load times is that the action of playing around is way faster than any of the load times.
Oh, yeah.
You maybe get a couple minutes in a round, and it's a very heavily Counter-Strike influenced game. But, yeah, you spend, let's say a good long round might be 5 to 7 minutes, and then your load time's probably 3 to 4 minutes. And then you just jump back into the same map, more often than not. Once in a while you'll get, I think they're just not communicating what's actually going on. It's just a spinning logo. And it's pretty, like the load screen's fine, but it's not telling you any information. Like you can't customize your class, you can't see what you've got. You have like a split second to decide what character, what operator you want to be. And the operators are really cool. Like there's a lot under the surface that's really, really awesome. Like the destruction's amazing. I can shoot through the wall just enough to open up a small hole to shoot through, as opposed to, exposing my entire body to any fire. I can rappel up the side of a building and just peek my head in, or just, aim my shotgun over and start blasting in there and hope I hit something. Like there's a lot of really cool breaching mechanics as well. But
Joe, how's the grenade throwing? Because I watched you do it.
Well, it's different. It's it's a challenge, I'll tell you that much. It was
Doxy was so great. He's like, okay, I'm going to throw this flashbang. Boink! Right off the wall. He's like, no! Boom!
It was everything
screen
went
went white.
white, and it was extremely loud. There was ringing, and I pretty much had to just stand still in the middle of the room because I didn't know what else to do. So I was like, oh god, I hope I don't die. And then I tried to throw another one, did the same thing.
Yep.
So
Oh,
it was
so
actually
perfect.
pretty entertaining. I won't lie. I had a good laugh about it, but I also had to just kind of sigh and shake my head like I'm an idiot. But hey, how you gonna learn, right?
Right.
I think I got like one through a hole once in a couple rounds. But it's interesting. Like, I really hope the game pans out well. I'm really excited for it. I still think it's got good concept, but I think the things that excite me for it, I just haven't seen yet. So it's the alpha's not necessarily a letdown. I know it's an alpha. They can clean up things like the load times. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
They got plenty of time. But the thing that actually irked me most was the way that the rounds go down. Every one is a hostage rescue mode. Which is cool, but I don't think I've had a single round where anybody has grabbed the hostage. I'll have to play a lot more tomorrow morning, and then I've got a write-up going up on Friday on it. But I just haven't had any rounds where the objective didn't turn into just kill the other team because you still win.
That's disappointing.
So, yeah, they've got to balance that out because there's no incentive for anybody to go after the hostage. I have lost rounds because my teammates were aiming for a bad guy and shot the hostage instead.
Yep.
But I haven't had any where the actual objective was worthwhile. It's easier to just go around the house, find the last, SWAT officer, take them out, or the last terrorist or whatever they're actually... I have no idea who they actually are, but... basically kill everything and the game's over. Cool. All right, launch in the next mode or next round and watch the load screen. So that's a little disappointing. I'm thinking that this will... I am not alone in that either. So I think that will help the developer, hopefully. Hopefully Ubisoft is listening and oh, well, that's boring. It's just deathmatch then. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they have plenty of time to make this better.
Yeah, and it is an alpha. I mean, there are freaking textures that just say alpha and they're gray. So, it's clearly pretty early on. And I have to commend them because the servers have been very stable. I haven't been kicked out of a match. I think part of the other problem is that it's matchmaking while it's loading, but it's not telling you that it's matchmaking or showing you a player count. So you think nothing's happening, but there's realistically something happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah. On top of that, I did finish up Son of Nor, which I mentioned last time, and I didn't put on the framework here, but it's okay. I just never was really grabbed by it. I think the lore, they start throwing a ton of alien race names and like a ton of just stuff at you. Like there's the Sarahul, and then there's these bird people, and then there's you, and then there's these other people, these like big stone people that took you through the desert, and it just becomes really convoluted really fast. And I think if they just paced that out a little bit better, or had some exploratory missions or exposition missions where you kind of figure out the lore, would be a lot better. But it's still got quite a bit going on. The physics are really, really good, actually. And even though it's not intended to be, it is funny at times because the physics are those crazy ragdoll physics. So you're throwing things as weapons into other things. And a lot of things go very high up in the air in ways they shouldn't. So it's a good game. I would probably say if you want to try something that's like emulating some of the like Star Wars Force powers, but different. There's some cool terraforming to it. My review, I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's fine. It's not like the best game I've played. It's not terrible either. It's fun to get through. The puzzles are a little bit... Some of the puzzles are good. Some of the puzzles just don't have enough information. So there's like points where I was just trying random combinations. And I got them. And I did it twice, so I was really happy. But I didn't feel like I actually did anything. It's just like, oh, I got it on accident. Cool. Neat. And it's kind of sad too. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to agree with you. Trial and error gets old fast.
Yeah, and
then you're just like, okay, whatever.
That's exactly how I felt. Like, it was just kind of like, oh my god, I just have to move this stupid thing over here. Maybe here. Maybe here. Nope. Okay. Well, I actually had a point where I had to stop, get lunch, and then came back to it, tried it again. Still didn't make any sense. Trial and error, figured it out. So, and I may have been missing something, but I tried my hardest to figure out, like, okay, these symbols need to match these. No. Damn it. And then, like, had no idea what I was doing. So, it's fine. It's cool. It's worth a look if you've got some spare time. Or it was on sale for a little bit. It was like $16.99 instead of $20. And it's at a decent price. So, I don't know. I'd say check it out if you're interested in, like, a third-person kind of physics thing. The sad thing is that there is a multiplayer. There's co-op. But there's also a, like, competitive. But I couldn't find anybody anywhere.
Ooh.
So,
Ouch.
I didn't judge it based on that in the review or anything. Because, obviously, there's no component. I can't really judge it. But I like the fact that it's in there. Like, it could be a really fun co-op game, actually. But I feel like it would even tone down further the amount that I take it seriously in terms of its lore. Because it's a fairly serious story. But it just, like, kind of... The physics kind of throw that all out the window, and I start laughing really hard because a lizard man, you know, went into the stratosphere.
Nice.
Yeah. So, let's see. What else? I keep playing Hardline. I can't. I just can't stop. I have a problem.
You shouldn't have to, Joe. You shouldn't have to stop.
I know. And it's like, there are things that are like really starting to get to me that I wish they just patched, like the netcode, where I keep dying around corners, or like RPGs, I'll be driving a car and somebody will hit the road, 30 feet in front of me and my car will explode as opposed to not, which it shouldn't. It should do some damage, but it shouldn't do that much. But, it's just little annoyances that can be patched that it's been about a month. And I know they've patched it to a certain extent, but it's like these little tiny things that when they happen, they're super annoying. They don't happen super often, but they just irk me so bad when they happen. But I just keep playing, so I guess, whatever. I guess I must like it all right.
Are either of you guys going to be playing Grand Theft Auto on PC next week?
Yes. Yep. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like maybe... we could have the next podcast in Los Santos. We'll just stream it.
That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't be opposed.
It wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I wasn't going to, and then actually, Brian, you had mentioned something. Who else were we chatting with? Somebody else is picking it up.
Penguin.
That's right. I was streaming, and Penguin said he was picking it up. So yeah, it sounds like it's actually gonna have a fairly big audience. I mean, I think a lot of people were waiting for this edition or are buying it to supplement the console because I think it's pretty clear that this will be the definitive GTA experience.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play.
I haven't played it yet, so I'm excited.
Oh man. Doxy, have you?
What?
Have you played through any of the GTA before it comes?
Yeah. Oh wait, this one?
Yeah, 5.
This specific one? No. Sorry, I'm sorry. I could not tell if you guys were talking about.
Oh no, you're fine. So
the past GTAs or this one.
Maybe not next week, but maybe the 22nd. We will try and recap because it'll be interesting to see how you guys feel about it. Since I've played it, I've played through single player twice and played GTA Online quite a bit on both 360 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
For show. Maybe we'll set up some GTA Online dates too. I think that'll
All
be
right.
fun.
I'm for it.
I'm
Some
in.
heist, of course. It'll be just general silliness. I also forgot that this month that Wolfenstein comes out. The New Order. Not the New Order, the Old Blood.
Yeah.
I love the
I forgot.
New Order. I forgot because it's only like... It's going to be a short game, I'm assuming. Right? It's only $20.
Yeah.
But I saw some story today about Nazi zombies coming back, so I'm in.
Mm.
Anyway, anybody playing anything else?
No?
Cool.
No.
Lots of Bloodborne.
Yeah, and that'll probably be the trend for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until May.
Until May. So, I think that'll do it for this episode. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
do.
We're
Well,
about done
I
here.
do. I do want to thank everybody for any type of feedback you've been giving. I love the support, we're especially getting on Doxy's YouTube channel. It's been really awesome.
Lots of views. It's nice. It's nice. I'm really happy with the turnout that we're getting.
Let us know what you want to see or hear, because we would love the feedback.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point, Brian. You said it inadvertently, but if you'd like to see us, we've toyed, Doxy and I have toyed around with the idea of doing it on Twitch, as well as doing some sort of video chat. I know Brian doesn't have the best internet. Sometimes it craps out, but what we can do is stick up some caricature when he goes off the grid.
Yep.
So we can play with that idea, or if you have like questions or topics that you'd like us to discuss, by all means, feel free to just throw them right in the comments of Doxy's video, or you can tweet at us, which, by the way, Doxy, how can they reach you?
The links. Twitch.tv/0doxy, youtube.com/0doxy, twitter.com/0doxy.
Whoop, whoop. And Brian, where are you at?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter as Quiglin, Quiglin.
Fan-freaking-tastic. My foot blister just popped. I am Joe McAllister, and you can find me at playinlightened.com sometimes here and there. We post the podcast over there as well. Twitch.tv/playinlightened. I will be trying to stream a lot more on there. And where else am I? Twitter.com/Joe_McAllister. So,
Also, check us out on iTunes.
yes.
Yes.
Rate and give us kind words. We don't want your negative feedback, so just remember that Joe says torture is okay. And you guys take care. Thanks for listening.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.